The empirical rule is helpful in interpreting the value of a standard deviation, though this rule only works for distributions that are approximately normal or bell-shaped. So here are some facts for the empirical rule. If you are within plus or minus one standard deviation of the mean, you will encompass 68% of all values. So if you are starting here at the mean, the middle, if you go down one and up one, everything in between will be 68% of all values. If you're within two standard deviations of the mean, it will encompass 95% of all values. So if you are down two standard deviations of the mean here and up two standard deviations from the mean here, everything in between will encompass 95% of all values. And if you're within three standard deviations of the mean, it will encompass 99.7% of all values. So again, if you're all the way down three standard deviations from the center and three standard deviations above the center, everything in between will be added up to 99.7%. So remember that the center here is always your mean. So let's use the empirical rule to figure out the percentage of where some of these scores fall. So we're assuming IQ scores are normally distributed with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 15. What percentage of IQ scores fall between 85 and 115? So remember, we start at 100, so we're starting here in the middle, and we're moving in increments of 15. So if we subtract 15 from 100, we're going to get 85. So that means we've moved down one standard deviation, so minus 1 sigma. And if we take the mean again and add 15, we're going to get 115. So in this case, we've gone up one standard deviation. So 85 is here and 115 is here. So if we go down one standard deviation to here and up one standard deviation to here, we need to just add all the values in between, which is 34 plus 34, or the fact that we read it up here, if you're plus minus one standard deviation, it's 68% of all values. So what percentage of IQ scores fall between 85 and 115? 68%. Let's do it again. This time between 70 and 130. So again, we know if we go down one standard deviation, we get to 85. So if we go down and do it again, 85 minus 15, we're going to get 70. And since we've already gone down one standard deviation below the first mean, or the original mean, and we do it again, we've actually gone down two standard deviations this time. Now if we do it again, 115, and we add 15, we're going to get 130, which this is positive 2 standard deviations above the mean. So we're going to use the fact again that if you go down 2 standard deviations and up 2 standard deviations, so that means between here and here, we can add these values up in between, or we can use our fact that 2 standard deviations will be 95%. So know the facts or just count or add all the numbers in between, all will give you the same result. In any case, what percentage falls between 70 and 130? 95%. Now we're going to do it again for between 55 and 145. So we can just kind of piggyback off of what we did. So again, 70 minus 15, which will give me 55. So this is down 3 standard deviations from our mean. And then if we take 130 and add 15 again, we're going to get 145. And this is positive 3 standard deviations above the mean. So plus minus 3 standard deviations from the center. So from here to here, we can add up all the values, or again, we can just use our facts that 3 standard deviations above and below will give us 99.7% of all values. And so, what percentage of IQ scores fall between 55 and 145? 99.7%. Now, what if it's not symmetrical? What if it's a little bit off? IQ scores that fall between 70 and 115. Well, we know that the mean is 100, and if we subtract 15, we get 85. Then if we do it again, 85 minus 15 again, we're going to get 70. Now that's down 2 standard deviations. And if we take our mean and add 15, we get 115. And this is plus 1 standard deviation. So we're going down 2 and up 1. So on our empirical rule chart here, if we go down 2 from the mean, which is right here, if we go down 2, we're here. And if we go up 1, we are here. So we want all the values between 2 down and 1 up. So 34 plus 34 plus 13.5. So when you add those 3 up, you're going to end up getting 81.5% of all values. So if it's not nice and symmetric, not a problem. Just use your chart and just see how far down you go and how far up you go, and then add all the percentages in between to get your result.